Hey kids, do you like wrestling? Well, we like wrestling too. We are Shake Them Ropes here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Myself and Chris Novembrino kind of doing a lazy river of wrestling criticism, going through the news and whatever happened in stateside television wrestling. And also, you know what? Sometimes we just like to watch old stuff and talk about that too. Love for you to give us a listen. If you haven't already, we are Shake Them Ropes here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Here we go! Kiss me like a love star. So I'm coming. Whoa, 君へ片思い涙の失恋 Give me fire, give me that what I desire.
You're listening to the Emerald Flow Show on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
Welcome to episode 78 of the Emerald Flow Show. We're a podcast on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network, and you can follow us on X at Emerald Flow Show and at Emerald Flow Show on Blue Sky as well. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review or a 5-star review on any podcast app that you listen to. I'm Gerard here with Paul once again. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Because it's the new year in Japan. There's a lot to talk about, but Paul, I wanted to start off with this one question. After the events of the last week or so, who's the bigger loser, Kaito Kiyomiya or Shota Umino?
I think Shota Umino is the easy pick here. Like Kaito has been a champion, right? Kaito has actually achieved things, and like getting turned on by the crowd after like a lengthy kind of little bit mediocre title reign is still different than being turned on and what is supposed to be a star-making performance. So I think it's an easy Shota Umino vote here.
Yes, I would agree as well. Because we were debating about like, are we going to talk more about Wrestle Kingdom? But then we're like, oh, well, you know, we're like everybody else is obviously talking about it and being like, well, what else can we add to like Kenny Omega versus
Yeah, it was great.
or something like that. So, yeah, I just decided to come up with, both two young wrestlers both got booed heavily over the past week. Let's compare and contrast them like that. But before we get into all of the shows, we've got a decent amount of news that we cover quickly. So President Tsuyoshi Fukuda of All Japan gave an interview with Tokyo Sports. And, well, if you read between the lines, because he says he signed an NDA, he was clearly trying to make a deal with WWE, and that fell apart because Vince finally left the company.
At least something positive came out of that whole mess of a situation, I suppose. I mean, we don't know what that deal would have actually looked like, right? Like if it would
probably
have been
like the Noah deal.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking. Like if it was that, then I wouldn't be too worried. But if it would have been more than that, then yeah.
Well, here's the thing though. Like, is Noah paying like almost, or is WWE just tell them you're going to? Because I think that changes the dynamics. Because
I would say
it's going to pay all these guys.
No, like I do think WWE is paying for almost. Like he's under contract with them.
Yeah.
So like I don't think like because I don't know if Noah would really like request someone like that, right? Like I think it makes more sense from WWE's perspective where they're like, well, we don't really have anything for you and you need to learn how to work like a giant. So what better place to send you to than like the country that has made like a shitload of amazing giant wrestlers. So go to Japan and then let's see if they can do something with you. So I think it's more likely that this was like a WWE initiative than Noah being like, yeah, we absolutely definitely want Omos. Like this, I think this was more like, can we get Nakamura? And WWE was like, yeah, you can get Nakamura, but you also have to like take Omos for like a couple of months and see if you can teach him how to work.
Yeah. The other thing in the interview is he claims that he talked to like he had like a board meeting and everything about the actress girl's relationship. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, do we actually know who's on the board?
Well, Suwama.
Yeah. Which that makes the whole thing kind of weird, yeah.
Right, because people were like, at the time, I think even like some people in the press were saying like, oh, this is sprung on us, but he says he brought it up prior this and got it approved, so I don't know.
So maybe Suwama didn't talk to like the other Evolution guys, like he kept this under wraps, like then, you know, that was actually more like his fault?
Yeah, I mean, it just seems strange. Although
it's very weird.
I think Fukuda has I don't know, recovered and mellowed out a bit.
Yeah.
He didn't get any boos on January 2nd.
I think that was the wake up. I think that really was the wake up call for him when he got booed last year. He was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm kind of going in a not the right direction here. If the fans are literally starting to like boo me. Like I remember, like I think it was I think it was the show on the third, or maybe it was the later Kirkin where you could see him like hover on the balcony like above the show, and it literally looked like a Sith Lord standing up there.
Yeah, for sure. So you know, I don't think he's being completely like dishonest or anything like that. But things have seemed to stabilize, and also, you know, we'll get into some other changes in all Japan in a minute. When we get to them, Paul 01 lives again.
somehow 01 returned.
So whatever, the copyright law in Japan is a little different than it is, I think, in the West, because well, you look at the Fire Pro games.
Yes.
All you have to do is slap on a different name, but things can be incredibly similar.
Yeah.
And in this case, the 01 trademark has returned to them, but so they don't have to call themselves Real 01 anymore. However, the January 1st Korakuen show was a Tachigi Pro show, and the announced roster, because they did a press conference, Kudo, it was just the Real 01 guys. So I don't know what's happening still.
Because the question is also like, do they still have the like broadcasting deal with Wrestle Universe?
They probably do. Well, it would be these people, the 01.
Yeah, because because I think that was the whole thing that kind of tipped us off back then, right? Where we were like, wait, why is it Real 01 that has a deal with Wrestle 1 and not 01? That doesn't make any sense, but it makes sense that, like it's actually... But then again, I mean, if I look at it, like they haven't uploaded a show on Wrestle Universe since like...
This is like last July, I think.
Yeah, last July. Like 11th of July was the last one, which was the Masato Tanaka anniversary. Yeah. So who knows what's happening there?
But they have announced, I don't know, like 10 shows between now and December. And all of them, with the exception of like one show on March 23rd in Hagi City, they're all at Shinkiba or Shinjuku Face.
Yeah. It's definitely like even lower level than 01 was, or 01 at the end.
Yeah, it is. I don't know what to make of this. It could just be a copyright thing, and there's still other obviously like outstanding financial issues as to why they are seemingly separate. So I think it's just we gotta wait and see. But 01's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I think that's really one of the things that a lot of people really underestimate when because obviously the Japanese wrestling scene isn't really healthy. Like it wasn't before the pandemic, and it definitely hasn't been since then, right? Because attendance is just down for most companies, like with very few exceptions. Attendance
I would
is
say
down.
That only All Japan and Stardom are probably ahead of where they were.
Yeah, those are the two ones that I'm that
And
come to
with
my mind. Kyushu Pro as well, I would say.
yes,
Though they're special.
yeah.
But what I think people really underestimate is just how much, like, for lack of a better term, like cockroach behavior, like Japanese, like indie promotions, like can show, right? They can be basically almost dead, but they somehow manage to find a way to just live on and just stave off the inevitable, like seemingly for like eternity, essentially.
Well, speaking of cockroach behavior, if you have any extra light tubes laying around your house, give them a big Japan.
Yeah. yes, please. I mean, the other bad thing is, right, that light tubes are getting banned in, I think, 2026 in Japan. So they better like stock up on those because
Now, my question is, like, are these banned from sale or like from like possession? I would assume sale.
It's sale. Yeah, you can't ban possession of light tubes.
I think
it's
it would
not
be
that. Yeah.
it would be hilarious if there was, like, I don't know, Abdullah Kobayashi, a big picture of him splashed being arrested for like smuggling light tubes or something.
The Shinkiba shows somebody use a light tube and then the cops just bust in.
So it sounds like, though, Tochigi Pro is going to become independent, but like, with all due respect, I mean, none of those guys are a draw. They're all young and really unknown.
Yeah, but I mean, they run like, I mean, it's called Tochigi. Like, I think it's a very local promotion. Like, I would assume. I mean, even now, right? They mainly were like just running in Tochigi before like 01 kind of used them to run these Kurikan shows that they didn't want to run under the 01 name because of all of the like trademark weirdness or whatever what was happening there. Because I'm pretty sure before then Tochigi Pro was exclusively like in Tochigi province.
It was.
So I assume it just goes back to that, and I would assume that like whatever like 150 or so fans that they draw into Tochigi is probably going to be enough.
Yeah, for sure. So also, someone has resurfaced on January 31st at that Babo Memorial / Taiokea retirement show. We're going to have Naoya Nomura versus Kuma Arashi. Now, this was announced before the New Year's week of shows. Now, he didn't pop up. So do you think he's going to appear in All Japan or what?
I want to see what he looks like first.
Sure.
Because obviously, like, he has gone through. I think similarly to last time, I think All Japan might also just be a bit hesitant and wants to see what he looks like. Like, I think that might be one of the reasons why he didn't come back immediately, because All Japan might have been like, I don't know, you had a pretty bad injury. And this one was also really bad. So I think if he somehow managed to like recover from this, I do expect him to like come back, because I at least feel like this time, like when he got injured this time, like last time it felt kind of weird when he left, and we didn't really get that this time. Like he never formally like left or something, right? You just got injured. So I feel like if he's looking well, then I would expect him to be back.
So let's get into some of the events or the matches and shows. We'll start off real quick. Paul, did you watch the Astros versus Masato Tanaka and Daisuke Sakamoto on December 31st in Big Japan?
No, I didn't, unfortunately. I heard good things about it, though.
This was, I watched it. It was really great. I did not watch the whole show. I wasn't really interested in the deathmatch tournament, but I watched that match, and it is worth absolutely checking out. It's what you expect. And Abe and Tanaka start the match by just headbutting each other.
I mean, I might actually check out the deathmatch tournament simply because the fact that they burned through their like almost the entire stock of like light tubes on that show, I think I kind of have to see that, because that has to be an absurd amount of just light tube dust filling Kurikan.
Yeah. So we start off then real quick. We'll just go through this quickly because I don't really have anything to say about a lot of this undercard. DDT Ultimate Party on December 28th at Sumo Hall in front of 3,579 fans. That's announced as just a no vacancy, and I'd say that's pretty good for DDT right now, actually.
Yeah, it's comparable to what they've drawn before.
So I'm going to start at the fifth match, which is the Haruto Sakuraba debut match with like Damnation TA team of Cannon, MJ Paul, and Haruto Sakuraba defeating Harashima, Yuki Ino, and Soma Takao in 12:52 with the Vietnam Driver 2 from Cannon on Takao. Now, this Sakuraba guy is not quite a Takechi in terms of either his look as like a heartthrob or his like natural skill, but I still think there's something with this guy because he's like looks like a heel pro wrestler.
Yeah, no, I've definitely the right guy to like. Like he's not formally a member of Damnation. No, wait, he is, right? He joined them officially.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, right. Yeah, now I remember. Yeah, when they did the whole introduction and he actually turned during when they like introduced him. So yeah, I mean, he definitely seems like fit well with like Damnation and their whole vibe. So yeah, I am also like, he doesn't seem like a natural, I think is my thing, but
Yeah,
we'll see. Maybe he picks it up over time.
I would give him another shot for sure. A special singles match. Jun Akiyama defeated Yuki Onaya in 13:24 with the front neck block. I'm a little baffled at this result. It was probably time to have Naya go over, especially since
Yeah.
they're not doing anything with Akiyama at all, because like burning disband and everything like that. And we'll talk more about
I
that
was
later.
surprised about that, but yeah, I get that now. But yeah,
so-
I also don't get this result. Like at this point, like it's like June should just put people over. There's really no reason for him to like win any singles match, really.
Yeah. It was a pretty good match. I mean, it wasn't like the best match on the show or anything, but it was like a solid 3.5 star.
Yeah.
And then special tag match, Keno and Yu Owada defeated Shinya Aoki and Keigo Nakamura in 11:41 with the Keno special on Nakamura for the submission. This is awesome. This had the interpromotional heat and like Aoki and Keno just doing the wild brawling in the stands and everything like that. Then the young guys just trying to step up and prove themselves and everything like that. And I thought, like, I don't think we're going to get a Keno versus Aoki match soon because of certain directions in Noah now that have subsequently developed after this show, but that would be awesome. And I thought this was awesome.
Yeah, no, I think Keno's going to be busy, but no, I think also like Yu Owada, it's like kind of one of his last performances as a young boy. And like, I remember watching this one and I was like, I'm curious how much longer they're going to keep this guy as a young boy. And that question was answered to me very, very quickly, basically within a couple of days, essentially. So yeah, no, I also thought this was definitely one of the best matches on this entire show, I think, easily.
For sure. And then the unsanctioned DDT stream title dramatic fight where you punch each other with the voice of your heart. Invisible Man defeated Dan Shoko Dino in 11:13 with the Dan Shoko driver cutback. I don't have anything to say about it.
Yeah. No.
Invisible Man, it's so funny they just went with that because it was supposed to be Great O'Khan, but they pulled him for like that. So whatever.
Yeah. It existed.
Yeah. But we go to special singles match. Yuki Ueno defeated Takeshi Masada in 16:23 with the WR. And I think this is the match of the show for me. This was Ueno showing more of an aggressive edge than he usually does because he wants to beat down the little pipsqueak Masada who stepped up to him. And Masada got a lot too, right? Like some near falls and everything. So it became very competitive. But in the end, Ueno snuck through with getting the WR out of nowhere. And I thought this was not by far, but this was the best match of the show.
Oh yeah, no, I fully agree that this was the best match on the show. I'm always never because Ueno is obviously awesome, but like I still kind of went into this match and was like, I'm not sure how well this is going to work or not, but like I think that like definitely like exceeded my expectations, and yeah, no, I thought this was awesome as well. I agree with you as well that like Ueno showing more edge and all of that. I think it's something necessary, right? Because he's been like the clean cut, nice, like basically like the like mother-in-law's favorite, right? For a long time. So I think him developing a bit more of an edge is something that is necessary for him right now if he wants to become like a proper ace. So, and he showed that here. So I definitely think it's encouraging for his development.
Yes, definitely. And then we go to the KOD tag team title decision match because Shunma is injured. So Mao and Toei defeated Tetsuya Endo and Yuya Kuroku in 24-17 with the Kojima impact from Toei on Kuroku. They become the 85th champions. I thought this was pretty good. Not the best match on the show, though. And it was basically, they tried to build this around Toei and Kuroku being like, I think Toei was like the 10-man 10-man tag champion, but they hadn't won one of the major. Neither of them have won a major title, so that was sort of the story going into the match. One of these young wrestlers are going to walk out as a champion of one of the top belts, and it was the Sonic Club team. But I thought this was very solid in the end.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, like I said, it was incredibly solid. Didn't really blow me away. I was a little surprised with the result because I actually kind of expected Endo and Koroku to win, but again, that very much made sense later why Endo didn't win here.
Yes, and I think it was after this match that Endo announced the end of Burning.
Yeah, which again, I was like, okay, what's happening here? And then turns out he's jumping.
And then in the main event for the KOD openweight title, Chris Brooks defeated Daisuke Sasaki in 36:55 with the Praying Mantis bomb. My God. I actually didn't hate this match. I thought it was fine. I thought there was some okay wrestling at points, but it was obviously long and drawn out with a couple of different interference spots throughout the match. I mean, in some ways it was a little better than I expected, but I don't think you necessarily need to go out of your way and see this, but I thought Dan Brooks worked really hard to make something of this.
Yeah, but yeah, no, to me this was just too long, and Daisuke Sasaki just doesn't really do anything for me. So I agree that Brooks worked hard. I mean, I will say at least this meant that like because of this match, it meant that like Wrestle Kingdom didn't have like the worst overly long main event of these like New Year's period shows.
Yes.
So I think this one was worse than that. And yeah, I really don't get why this was the main event of the show. I just like I'm just still baffled by that because I just look at DDT's roster and like overall I'm like there's like so many people that could have been in this besides Daisuke Sasaki. Because you can't even make the argument that you don't want to burn off a big match. Like it's a big show in Sumo Hall. That's where you burn off the big matches. And this isn't a big match. At least to me it isn't. So yeah. I was baffled by it and I was bored and I didn't like it.
Yeah, so I thought that we'll talk about this later in another example. Having a weak main event can drag down your show, but I still thought this was a good show overall because I thought the upper half of the Dino match.
Oh yeah, no, I liked this more than I did the All Japan New Year's Eve show.
Yeah,
I thought this was a better show. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's DDT, but we're going to dive into Noah, and we start all the way back on the 19th of December, which seems like ages ago, for Star Navigation Triple Summit, because Go and Nosawa probably don't get along, which is why we have all these different sub-brands. So they drew 1,205 fans, and I would say that that's pretty good for a Noah show in Korakuen right now.
Especially it was like I think it was like a Wednesday or so for the show, and there were no title matches either. So I thought this was actually a really, really good number when I saw it.
Yeah. So you had like a Money Magic offer match, which was actually the Joshi match, and then a limit break match where like it's like the Reeve Mask and Koji Momono and Black Menso Ray. So this was all standard stuff. They did the first match was a 3-way match between Daga, Luis Monte, or 4.
It was a 4-way, yeah.
It was a 4-way.
No,
Daga,
they fucked that
Luis
up. It was a
Monte,
4-way.
Yeah, Daga, Luis Monte, Ada, and Titus, and obviously Daga won, but he also pinned Ada, and that was just a quick little match. I thought it was fine for the opener. Things kind of pick up with Masa Kitamiya and Daiki Odashima, Manabu Soya and Kazuyuki Fujita defeating. Wait, who won this match?
I'm pretty sure Soya and Fujita won. Like I'm pretty sure Soya pinned Kitamiya.
Yeah. So wrong thing there on the notes.
Yeah.
Anyway, this was a great match just to see the Fujita and Oda interactions, which were great. And we'll get into
God, yes. Later. When he just stepped up to like Fujita when Odashima stepped up to Fujita after the match and just got knocked the fuck out. Like it was literally like it's literally like the guy like jumping at the gorilla and just gets mauled. It was awesome.
So then next up, we had Kaito Kiyomiya defeating Yoshitatsu in 8:22 with the modified Shining, which was just an angle, really, wasn't it not?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was basically not a match at all. It was just like, Kaito get it? Like, I got pissed because I was like, well, where All Rebellion has like a bajillion members, like, where are they? Why are they like letting Kaito getting like beaten up for like 5 minutes straight. But then they actually came out, they cleared the ring. I did like, though, that Yoshitatsu was not presented as like a competitive wrestler, right? Like Kaito basically knows all of his offense. Like the only time they ever even got like any like upper hand was like when he got like outside help. But okay, I actually have a question for you if you agree with me here, because basically after this, right? Like so Kaito kind of like he beats Yoshitatsu, he like sends Ozawa packing, and then he cuts a promo where he basically buries Ozawa. And after all of that, I was like, okay, now I'm certain Ozawa is like winning on January 1st. Because if he's not, he is like so far just gone and done completely.
Yeah, I still did. I don't know. I still wasn't sure. I went back and forth on it. But yeah, I guess we should have seen it in the cards. Really.
Because, to me, it was like basically, it was like, where he's just like, if you want to make this guy, like you probably like, if you wanted to like maybe not have him win here, you could have absolutely done it. But after you basically build it up that he just looks like a complete and utter joke if he doesn't win, then I think to me that was the tip off that he was winning.
Yeah, for sure. And then and it was just an angle, so I don't really like, whatever, it was what it was. But then we go to the limit break for match 2. Go Shiozaki defeated Yuji Nagata in 17-13 with the go-on lariat. Now we're talking. This was by far and away the best match on the show. Yes, these guys were both beat up. Akiyama's 55, but God, it was still great.
Yes.
Go really.
He looks like he's made out of leather, but
yes. Go really making a strong run at the end of the.
Yeah, especially after we said it's like, are we sure he isn't kind of washed now? And then he like immediately comes back and is like, let me show you how not washed I am.
Yes. And then the next 2 matches were just called the No Full Gift Christmas matches. And you had Junta Claus in one of them. And then the other one had Tree Man, which was Yohei, dressed up as a Christmas.
He looked so miserable.
There's not much to say about those matches.
No, they were fun, though. They were harmless fun, basically. I think that was what I can say about this whole show, right? Like, it's not like must watch or anything, but like I was like, I enjoyed myself. It was basically my takeaway.
Watch Go versus Nagata.
Yeah.
I really that it was the absolute. So we then move on to the next day on the 20, or the couple days later on the 22nd. Shinkiba first for Limit Break X in front of 243 fans. So we had Yu Owada beating Satsuki Nagao in 844 with a backslide. This is a good little young guy match, or young boy match. And who knew that this big win from Owada was going to mean something?
Yeah. In hindsight, there were a lot of like tip-offs that they were going to do something with Yu Owada.
Yeah. And then we had, I totally turned out all of the Reeve Mask stuff.
Fair.
But the Reeve Mask and the Reeve Mask 2 defeated Tomomitsu Matsunaga and Black Menso Ray in 10:57, with the Reeve press from Reeve Mask on Menso Ray continuing their bad feud, actually. Bad. Then we have Masato Tanaka, Takuya Sugawara, and Yoshikazu Yokoyama defeating Hajime Ohara, Shuhei Taniguchi, and Kohei Kinoshita in 15:01 with the sliding from Tanaka on Ohara. I mean, this is just fine, although I don't really think you need to go 15 minutes on this. And a couple of the talents involved. Mohamed Yone and Shuji Ishikawa defeated Kazuki Fujita and Koji Doi in 13:12 with the Muscle Buster from Yonan Doi. This was a lot better, just a standard tag match with some bigger guys, especially. But I really do actually like the Ishikawa and Fujita chemistry.
Yeah, no, I mean, to be fair, I think it's because Fujita actually respects Ishikawa because he's just super tall, so he kind of has to.
He's large.
So I think that actually helps, because he's one of the few guys that Fujita can't just bully around physically, because he would actually lose.
Well, it's funny because I also think that Ishikawa is in better shape than Fujita these days.
Yes, which is weird.
Then we go to Atsushi Katoge versus Koji Iwamoto, which went to a 20-minute time limit draw. I mean, this was fine, but it didn't really knock my socks off. Maybe I was a little expecting I don't know.
Yeah, no, I was disappointed as well. Like I went into that and was like, okay, probably if this gets time, it's probably going to be awesome. And it definitely got time, but then they didn't really do much with it. So it was fine. It wasn't bad, but I was definitely victim of expectation.
For sure. And then in the main event for the 0-1 World Heavyweight Championship, Go Shiozaki Yunya Matsunaga in 21:50 with the go on lariat. This was a good match. I'm not think it's like, match of the year or anything, but this is a very good solid match. I thought Matsunaga hang well with Go. Go gave him a lot, and it was just a good old school hard hitting Japanese main event.
Yeah, I didn't think it was like anything blow away. I thought it was very solid. I like with Matsunaga, there's just kind of like a limit there as well. So again, like I just talked about it, Go showed how he's not washed, but I also feel like Prime Go probably would have gotten a bit more out of this.
Sure.
So from that aspect, but I think that's maybe more his limitation, where it's like he can't really elevate the other guy anymore. So this was more like wrestled at like Junior Matsunaga's level, which is very, very solid, but not spectacular. It's basically my takeaway.
Now, did Junior say something about he's going to appear more in Noah?
I think I heard something like that as well. Who knows if that's still the case with this whole like 0-1 reformation, but I mean, it definitely seems like Noah is just poaching guys from 0-1, or maybe Noah's taking in the guys that like don't want to go to like the new 0-1 or whatever, which makes sense. Like it's a bunch of guys that you can definitely like fill out your roster with.
I have no problem with that signing.
Yeah,
actually,
because that also means like some of the older guys can actually like take a bit like Yone, right? Can take like a bit more of a step back as well, become like maybe a bit more like part-timers, and you don't have to like wrestle on every show because they need bodies when you have like guys like Harutoki and Junior Matsunaga.
Well, yeah, and they lost 2 wrestlers to retirement.
Yep.
And was the Okada and oh my god, I forgot.
Yeah. It was Kinya Okada and the other one was Yano.
Yatsutaka Yano. Lost them. That was in 2024, right? Or was that even?
No, I think that was. When did it disappear? I think. Time is weird.
Yeah.
No. It had to be last year. Or had it with? No, wait. When did Nakajima break Kinya Okada's jaw?
Yo, it was 2023. It was 2023.
That was 2023. So then it was 2024 because he came back from injury, and then like shortly thereafter was like, hey, no. It was last year. They got outed last year. No, because they weren't on any of the shows that I was at last year. So it had to have been in 2023.
Oh, 2023. Yeah. Oh, okay. So they were gone longer than I thought. Okay, but they've lost a few wrestlers, and and they're not booking as many foreigners, so they can use these guys to fill out the roster.
Yeah,
is what
they also lost Jake, for example, too.
Oh, that's right. They lost Jake. Yeah. So yeah, they could use the Eugenia Matson. Now again, like Haruto's all that. So I think that was another solid Limit Break show. I have very much enjoyed Limit Break this year. It's just solid, no nonsense wrestling that I like. So we move on to the big show that everyone's talking about, Noah the New Year, on January 1st at the Nippon Budokan in front of 5,088 fans, which it was up from last year. So that's a good sign. Now, started off with Noah the Rumble, and well, it was a Rumble.
It happened.
And we'll get to, obviously, Tadasuke won, and we'll talk about what he did with his challenge for any title thing there. But interestingly enough, Saxon Huxley was booked on this show.
Yeah, that's definitely someone I didn't expect.
Or didn't need to.
No, that too.
In much better news, Zozaya showed up, one of the most promising wrestlers in Europe from Spain. And I'm very excited to see what they do with him.
Yeah, it's very clear that like Noah and All Japan are like doing a lot more scouting in Europe, right? Because they're also picking up the talents a lot faster as well. Because Zozaya really only broke out over like the last year, really.
Right.
So to him, then immediately get like brought over to Japan and everything definitely means that they have like their fingers on the pulse. And I think like Noah is quietly building like a really like promising roster of like young foreigners, right? They have Titus Alexander. They have Zozaya. LJ, like not like on the same level of talent as those two, but also still like sneaky young as well. Like he's just been wrestling for a long time. Like he's been wrestling since he was really young, but he's also still like I think in his mid to late 20s. So I think it's really interesting what they're like doing there, and I hope that they actually like manage to build on that as well. And again, Josiah I think also fits in like a glove in Noah. I think he's perfect for the promotion, and I'm really looking for. I am kind of. It's probably going to be a letdown because there's going to be like some weirdness being booked in there as well. But I'm just thinking about like potentials there for the N1 this year.
Yes.
We could have like Titus Alexander, Josiah, and
Endo.
Obviously, you're gonna have Ozawa in there.
Endo, Kenta.
Like that. I mean, we're probably also gonna get like Saxon Huxley, but I think the N1 has some real good potential this year if everything shakes out well.
Yeah. This is also the first of 3 Battle Royals or Royal Rumbles I had to watch.
And none of them were any good.
No. Spoiler alert, none of them were. Actually, sorry, it was actually 4.
Oh yeah, right. Because All
was
Japan was like, let's do 2.
Yeah, and Noah did.
Oh, did you watch the Rambo?
Oh, I didn't. No, I did not watch the.
Okay, I actually didn't see that one either because
I couldn't watch another Battle Royal.
My thing was also I'm not getting up. My thing was like I'm not getting up early to like watch the Rambo. I'm getting up in time for like the main show.
Yeah, for sure. So we go to the first official match of the show for the GHC heavyweight tag team, junior heavyweight. It's a 3-way match. Hayata and Yohei defeated Amaska and Junta Miyawaki and Alejandro and Kai Fujimura in 8:20 with the 403 impact from Hayata on Alejandro to make their 5th defense of the title. This only went 8:20. I thought it was actually pretty good for what they just all jammed into it. So I enjoyed it for what it was. But I would have liked to have seen Amaska.
Yeah, I was also ready to kind of move on from Hayata and Yohei. I think they've actually been better than I expected them to. Because the matches are pretty inoffensive generally and not too long either, which was always a problem with Hayata. But I also thought like Amaxa and Junta winning was just much more interesting. There are just a lot more fresh matchups for them as well. And also you would have finally shown everybody that you're actually willing to do something with Junta now, which even on commentary they talked about like, hey, Junta seems like he has a bit of a different air. And I was like, maybe he's winning. And then nope.
Well, and also Amaska, who's like the best junior, is also spitting his.
Yeah. So this would have been a perfect time to do it. Again, they already had 4 defenses, so it's not like they would have had like Hayata and Yohei, right? Were already on like this was their 5th defense. So I don't know. I think it would have been time. It's not like a major like booking error or anything like that, but I just would have liked to see the fresh team win.
So then we had the New Year limit break, which is Go Shiozaki, Muhammad Yonhei, Atsushi Kotoge, and Hajime Ohara defeating Kazuyuki Fujita, Shuji Ishikawa, Tetsuya Endo, and Black Menso Ray with the go-on lariat from Shiozaki on Menso Ray. It was perfectly quick 8-minute 8-man match. Not a ton to say, but it was good for what it was. But then we got Defeat the Beast, 1-minute challenge. Kazuyuki Fujita versus Deki Odashima went to a time limit draw, and Odashima tried to grapple with him. And he kicked out of that lariat, and then the time ran out when he was up in the beast bomb. So I don't know. Do you think he should have just defeated him, or do you think it was the draw? I could see both.
No, I think it was
Odashima.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I think it was so too. The result. I don't think it would have hurt him if he like lost at 58 seconds or something either. But this was just so great.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was surprised that he got any kind of offense really. Like when he attempted to suplex Fujita, I like lost my shit. I was like, oh my god, is he actually gonna do it? And it's like, oh, okay, of course not. But still, like that he even got that much, I think I was surprised about. Like by Fujita standards, that's like the most selling he's done in like years.
Yeah.
No, I also thought this was awesome. And then him just getting like as time expires and like he's up in the beast bomb and then Fujita's just like, fuck it, and just obliterates him.
Yeah, sure.
No, this was really awesome. Like this was like it's a minute of it, but I would like this was one of my favorite matches on the entire show.
For sure. It was so much fun. I hope this continues. This should just be a running.
You should do this on every show.
Yeah. So next up we go to Brother versus Brother. Galeno Del Mal defeated Hio to Dr. White Jr. in 9:52 with the Galeno special. I like this. I thought it was actually pretty good. I think it just ended up for what they got. I just think it really ended abruptly. And they also had their mother, Rossi, in the crowd there, had the camera on her. But Yeah, I think they should have gotten a couple more minutes, and I think this match would have been pretty darn good if it had.
Yeah, I was disappointed that it ended that quickly, and you also felt that the crowd wasn't really ready for it to end either.
No.
But they definitely popped big for like the Galeno win, or rather, you had like the shock, like kind of reaction from a lot of people when it actually happened. I don't know, like, did you think this was surprising? I kind of expected this to happen.
No, I expected it was the right thing to do, and Wagner says he's going back to Mexico. So
sure, if by that he means like Florida, then sure. I mean, let's be real, he's going to the US, right? Like whether it be AEW or WWE.
I just assume all Noah foreigners is going to end up in WWE because on this show that's also angling for a job clerk.
Yes, very very blatantly.
So probably in some ways I think if this was the semi-main event of a Korakuen with more time, it might have been in a better situation for what they were trying to do.
Actually, I would have almost put this on the like Shinjuku face show the next day. Like you could have given it some time there.
Yeah, that's very possible. Also a good idea. So then we go to our first 25th anniversary match of the year. 2025 is 25 years of pro wrestling. Noah. Kento defeated Keno in 1524 with the go to sleep. And look, as we've said this on the show before, Kenta, he knows how to work at Noah better than he This is awesome. Look, I think Keno really was like carrying this match, but Kenta I gotta keep watching what I say when I talk about these two. But Kenta tried his damnedest to keep up, and it was great, just them stiffing each other and everything like that. So this is a very good start for Kenta and Noah, and I'm excited actually.
You know what? I'm kind of hoping that at some point All Japan will introduce a wrestler named Kenna just to like completely like just utterly confuse you for the eternity of time. But yeah, no, I agree. This was really good. It's Kenta just like he just has a different like energy when he's a Noah. Like it's like I mean again like it's his home, right? Like at the end of the day, like when he went to New Japan at the time, that obviously made a lot of sense because Noah was basically dead. Let's be real. Like they were saved from certain death by Cyber Fight like a couple of months later, I think actually. If I got my timeline kind of correct. But still, like at the time, that just didn't make any sense for him to go there. But from the way he wrestled in Japan, like I don't know if now he's just kind of figured out a better way to like work within his limitations than he did for most of his New Japan run, or if
his
maybe
body
another
is way
thing.
more thrashed even than it was when he showed up in New Japan.
Exactly, yeah. So, but I also feel like the New Japan thing for him was always just a paycheck. Right? Yep. Like that's the effort level he put. And that's just very much it felt like I'm here because you're the promotion in Japan that is like willing to pay me because the others either probably can't pay me what I want to be paid. And whenever he's a no, and especially now, and I'm happy also like just to like fast forward a little bit that he actually like despite the fact that he won this match, that he actually said he is going to be back in Noah. And actually today when we're recording, because we're recording this on the 6th, at New Year's Dash, they actually announced as well that he wrapped up with New Japan. So he is going to be
wrap up. I just saw his comments and he said like bye. Didn't know that was a definitive.
It's like the PDKX or whatever it's called again.
Okay, so he's gone.
Boro News site. They said he's finished with New Japan. Wow. So that means he's back in Noah, which again, it just feels right. It would have been such a bummer if he had retired as like a Bullet Club undercard wrestler in New Japan. That would have just felt so wrong, just viscerally. So I'm happy that he's back in Noah. We'll see how long he sticks around. I mean, again, his body's also pretty trashed. So I actually wouldn't be shocked if this is like a thing where like they're doing some sort of retirement show for him next year, where maybe he will just want to hang it up. But I mean, regardless, even if that doesn't happen, I'm happy that he's back in Noah. And if this is the kind of Kenta that we're getting, then I think we're in for something really entertaining. I'm really excited how this like roster is starting to shape up now.
And then next up was the GHC Junior Heavyweight title, 2 out of 3 falls. Ada beat Daga 2-1. So Ada finally regains the title. So it was like Daga beat Ada in 152 with Diablo Wings. He basically just squashed him on that first fall.
Yeah. By the way, did they announce in advance that this was a 2 out of 3 falls match?
I'm pretty sure they did, yes.
Okay, because when I was watching it, I'm like, what the fuck did are they gonna do Daga versus Eita like third year in a row on the New Year's Eve show? Like he just squashed them in like under 2 minutes, and then commentary was like, no, this is 2 out of 3 falls. I was like, I just did not remember that they had actually announced that as a stipulation. So I actually thought the match was over.
And then the next fall was 3 minutes and 37 seconds later with the jackknife hold, and then they won another 707, and then Ada won with the salamander. This did not overstay its welcome, because sometimes, if you think 2 out of 3 falls, you're going to like 20 minutes at least. And I thought this was good. I thought Ada showed up and actually wanted to work.
Yes. He definitely seemed a lot more motivated. It definitely was way better than the match they had last year.
Yes, for sure.
At the New Year's show. Because that was just really boring, and this, I don't think it was great, but it definitely was a lot more interesting than that. And I think actually the stipulation worked here as well, with Daga just utterly dominating him in the first fall, right? Just, as you said, like squashing him. And commentary put that over as well. And then basically Eita having to like work his way back, and then finally managing to actually overcome Daga. So like it felt like he actually earned the victory.
And then I don't know, what do you think? Do you think Ada's going to be more motivated in this reign? Because it's probably going to go for a bit.
I mean, I hope so. I mean, that's always the problem with Eita, right? What are his motivation levels? But that's the thing, like when his motivation is actually there, he's really good. Like if they actually give him a lengthy title reign and he's actually into that, I think it could be really good. Like, because to me, still my favorite period of Eita is still when he was the Open the Dreamgate champion, because he was fully motivated for that entire run. So it ended up being really good. So hopefully, like we get that Eita here, and not like the Eita that we've seen so far on Noah.
And then we move on to the GHC national title. Manabu Soya defeated Masakami in 12:51 with the Passion's fourth defense of the title. I don't know. This was as good as I was expecting it to be, but it was still like decent.
Yeah, no, I had really high expectations, and it was an okay match. And I guess the lesson we have to take away from this is that Masaki Tamiya just can't beat Manabu Soya.
Yeah, because I don't think there's going to be a rematch anytime. But we'll get more to that later. It's just I don't even know what was missing from this. It's like I felt like maybe they didn't. I expected them go. Maybe I don't know. Like
yeah, they just kind of wrestled like a match. Like I think it just lacked intensity, right? Like I think that's really what was missing here. There was just, for some reason, the intensity wasn't there. It almost reminded me of like what Masaki Tamiya was like earlier in his career, right? When like the criticism of him was always that he's just very inconsistent, where he has great matches and then he has just kind of like, he's just kind of like there. And this almost felt like a return to that Masaki Tamiya, because I don't really think this was on Soya. This felt more like Kitamiya, just not like it never really felt like he really wanted, like you never really got the feeling that he like wants to win this title. Like it almost felt like it wasn't really, it almost felt like it was just a regular singles match without the title involved, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree. So we go to the GHC heavyweight tag team titles. Jack Morrison almost defeated Naomichi Marufuji and Takashi Sugera in 10:48 when almost pinned Marufuji with the double. Paul, are you? I mean, Marufuji, the one to do the job, was like the least surprising thing ever.
Yes, no, that was clear. Yeah. Almost is so fucking tall.
Yes. Oh, he works even taller in Japan.
God, yeah. I mean, like the fact that he can like look over the top rope while walking next to the ring is insane.
So I like this for what it was. What can I say?
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say Marufuji Sugera knew how to work with Cell the Giant.
Oh no, they know exactly what their role here was. Like they were just like, okay. I mean, they probably knew that when the first time they actually like laid eyes on Omos, and were like, they immediately probably had like the match layout in their head where they're like, okay, you are absurdly tall. Like you're like, we're just gonna like sell the fact that you are absurdly tall for the entire match, and that's what we're gonna build this around. And yeah, I thought this was a really good, like Omos obviously is still like pretty green. So, but I think he projected really well. I think that's really his thing. Like, I think his moves are still a bit clunky at times, but it was very well hidden by Marufuji and Sugura just like bumping their asses off. So
sure.
it still looked pretty, it often still looked like competent enough. And yeah, otherwise like him just being like just like literally like I literally it felt like Attack on, like it literally felt like Narumichi Marufuji were like transported into Attack on Titan. Like it's just like this, just the giant Titan is just standing in front of them and they have to figure out a way. Like I was almost expecting them to like break out like 3D maneuver gear or something like that to like try to like chop the giant down somehow. And ultimately, like, yeah, no, I thought this was just exactly what it should have been. Like, obviously, you don't go into this expecting like a 4-star classic or anything like that. And everybody played their role to perfection. And I mean, we were alluding to it earlier, right? Like Jack Morris, obviously, like aiming for a drop in WWE, like with the way he looked, but like he almost felt like the fourth most important guy in the match, though. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Don't even really remember what he did.
I mean, he goes in, he starts the match, and he stalls and immediately tags out to almost.
Yeah, right. Like that's all he really did. Like I'm struggling to think what else he did. But I mean, with the way he looked, he's very much like, I think that was really his main goal here. Wasn't even like to show his wrestling. It was just more like, here, look at my abs.
Yeah, for sure. Now almost zero to the 19th, but I assume he's going to come back again.
Yeah,
titles.
Yeah, because right, Dave Meltzer announced that, but I mean, Noah has really only announced like matches to the 19th, so
yeah,
do we really know if his tour is going that long, or if this is just, well, these are all of the matches that are announced, so we know he's there until at least the 19th. So yeah, I mean, obviously with him being a champion, he has to come back at some point. But I could very much see him just sticking around as well, because again, he's doing nothing in WWE. So there's really no reason for him to go back for now. Like, I think it's probably better for him to just stay in Japan for a while and just, like, you know, learn stuff. Also, apparently, he's like a massive anime fan. So I would assume he probably also has an interest in staying around. Oh my God. I just thought, like, actually, because they did the video of him in like Shibuya, what we actually need to see is almost cramming himself in some of those like tiny stores in Akihabara. Oh my God, I want to see it, because some of those even I have like problems of like with like the doors being like too low, and I'm not. I'm only like 174. Like I'm like Keno height, so I can only imagine for like almost has to like probably almost like fold himself in half to even get through some of those doors. I want to see video of that.
So then we had the special singles match, New Year First Dream, Shinsuke Nakamura and whatever the hell defeated Uka Sasaki in 14:57 with the Kinshasa. I have seen mixed reviews on this match. I didn't really like it. I thought it was kind of boring. I thought Sasaki put on a nice little comeback performance towards the end, but there wasn't really much there otherwise. It was just so boring when Nakamura came over.
I actually asked someone that I know that watches WWE why Nakamura looks like a homeless man now. I mean, he didn't in this match at least, but he looked very much like on the match graphic. Yeah, I guess that's his new gimmick at the moment. Yeah, I mean, Nakamura obviously didn't give a shit. Like, he was like, okay, what's the minimum amount of stuff I can do to like get through this match? I did like Ulka Sasaki. Like, I think he definitely, like, he tried to do something at least. Like, there wasn't really, like, there's only so much you can do as a, like, wrestler that is, like, 1 year in if you have an opponent that just doesn't want to do anything. Yeah. But I can at least give him that he, like, tried to insert some energy into this. But, yeah, there's only so much you can do. And it was pretty boring overall.
Yeah. This is just diminishing returns. I mean, I thought that match with the Great Muta was way better than this.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was. I mean, I will at least say I don't think they're drawing 5,000 without Nakamura. So I get it from that perspective, right? Where you bring him in, you get like the crowd into the building, and then you hope that they like stick around because they like want to see like Ozawa.
And then,
because as you know, with commentary, like maybe we can use it as a segue actually into the next match. As obviously, because Nakamura was there, that meant there were a lot of New Japan fans there who were hoping for Kaito's downfall for some reason, and that's the reason Ozawa got cheered. I generally like Stu and Mark as a commentary team, and I thought they were really good for the entire show. But that was like one of the most like absurd copes. I get that you try and cover for this, but come on, man, that's so absurd.
Yeah, that's so funny. So in the main event for the GHC Heavyweight Championship, Ozawa defeated Kaito Kimi in 29-34 with the Real Rebel, which is a Phoenix Splash. Become the 46th GHC champion, and Kaito fails on his V8. Well, first of all, I mean, I thought this was quite the sight to behold just for the whole vibes, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, this was amazing. Just like instantly when the match started, like there were massive Ozawa chants. I was surprised by that, to be honest. I did not expect that.
And boos for Kaito.
Yeah.
And only a few minutes into this, we got some interference, and then later on in the match, almost walked out. And he got a big pop for walking out.
Got such a big pop for coming out. I mean, it's also like the way he just appears, and he's just like eye level with the ring.
I mean, I thought Ozawa was amazing here with his charisma, his mocking of Kaito. He hits a better Shining Wizard than Kaito.
Everybody does, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. And, he won. And there's two things of this match, whatever. But still, the vibes are amazing. And this was an incredible start to the year. I really did like this match and everything like that. It was gutsy, but I think it worked, especially after seeing this match. But Paul, and here's the thing. I see people being like, well, some people, we're not necessarily being critical of it, but we're just being like, well, we got to wait and see what happens. And people are like, oh, you people are like this. And I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm basing off of Noah's recent history and who runs this promotion. This, I don't even want to say this, but this could go south easy.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Like, it really depends what the follow-up here is.
They walked the
with
fine
Ozawa and how it's presented as champion.
Yeah.
Because this could very easily turn into, like, if he's like a joke champion or whatever, then I think this goes really poorly.
I mean, they could just, I mean, I could see Nosawa leaning into this and then them becoming House of 2000X.
Yeah. if they do it too much. Like, they didn't do it too much here, but it very easily could turn into that. I'm not too worried yet because, again, the match was mostly wrestled straight, right?
Yeah.
For the most part. Like, there was some interference, but it's not to, like, House of Torture levels.
No.
Where it's basically just non-stop all day, every day. Like, this was more comparable to, like, David Finlay. Well, not David Finlay at, like, Wrestle Kingdom, because there he just wrestled straight, but, like, more like what, like, he was, like, early on and as his, like, when he became Bullet Club leader, essentially, where there was some ghetto interference, but not, like, it wasn't, like, this non-stop House of Torture stuff. So I hope maybe it's more that, and hopefully maybe they drop it over time as well. I mean, fuck, they might turn him face.
Yeah, I mean, that could happen too.
Like, if they just keep getting these reactions, then they just kind of have to, like in that case, it might actually, you know what actually is a really good comparison here? Early LIJ.
Okay.
Because early LIJ also had, like, a ton of, again, Naito won his first title off of interference. Like, the first time he beat Okada for the belt was, he beat Okada, right? I think so. But the first time he won the championship, it was with interference. Because it was Sanada. Sanada helped Naito win the belt. So I hope it's more comparable to that. Because, I mean, again, Ozawa does the, like, Naito pose, but with an extra flip, which I think, honestly, in hindsight, when he started doing that in Europe, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It really kind of should have tipped me off that he was going to turn heel. Because I was like, oh, that's not a very face thing to do. When he did it as a face constantly in Europe, I was like, yeah, that's cool. It's kind of Naito inspired. But, like, in hindsight, it's like, oh, yeah, he like learned to do that because he knew he was going to use it as a heel in Japan. Because I assume those plans were set by then.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I at least would assume so. So, no, I thought Ozawa was awesome. I think if they don't fuck up the follow-up, they've made a star. Like, they've made a guy that they can, like, use. And we'll see if this actually is somebody that maybe even turns into a draw.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I mean, because obviously Kaito isn't. And I think what we've also learned here that like this version of Kaito like just doesn't work, right? Like he just has to change. I know that he just gave him all rebellion and everything, but I don't think they'd even need to like get rid of all rebellion and all of that. But I think he needs to like change the way he like presents himself, the way he needs to drop the Shining Wizard, because like at this point it's absurd.
Yeah.
Like it looks like shit.
It's funny because
Everybody does it better.
Completely is responsible for bearing that if it does change.
Yeah. So yeah. I think because again, like the fans resoundingly rejected that version of Kaito in this very match. Like they very clearly told the promotion, we don't want to see this version of Kaito anymore.
Yeah.
Like we want something different. So because again, like this promotion will still be built around Kaito Kiyomiya for better or for worse, because I think that is just still the plan. But there is at least like somebody else now in his age range. Like Kaito finally has what he's been lacking for his entire career, which is a generational rival, which I think that's what Ozawa is going to be. Like he's going to be like the Nakamura to like Kaito's Tanahashi.
Yeah.
So finally has that, and we will see where they go from here.
Yeah. So after the match, Keno comes out and everything, and then they get into it, and we'll get more into that later. But Paul, how long do you think this reign is going to last?
Yeah, because I was thinking about that, because that's the one I'm scared of, is that they make him like, because they have this whole like Keno singles match coming up that is non-title, right? So presumably he's going to lose that, or there's going to be some fuckery involved. Which that's already something I'm worried about, that makes Ozawa look weak. And then if he loses like the title to Keno immediately, that also makes him look bad.
Yeah. I could see Kaito beating him back for the title, but you got to give it a few.
Yeah. Although I feel like that's like the most boring option, but I'm also not sure who else is there, really.
Yeah, that's the thing. But
Kenta.
Brian, yeah.
Put it on Kenta. Fuck it.
So good show. And
I love the show. I thought this was pretty great.
And we have our reasons to be skeptical, but it was a strong showing from totally. It was a real reboot, not the next day.
Yes. No, I would say, like, again, we're kind of scared with the follow through, but I think the booking like day of on the show, I think, was pretty flawless. Like I said again that I would have wished for like the junior heavyweight title to change, but again, that's like a minor gripe, and then I think everything else was booked like the way it should have been booked.
Yeah. So we then move on to the New Year reboot on January 2nd at Shinjuku Face in front of 480 fans. Paul, I did not watch the opening match with Rattel.
It was fine. It was pretty unmemorable, to be quite honest. I did watch it, but I'm also like, now that you're asking me, I am struggling to recall specific things about it.
Well, Ada won.
I know. Hayata won.
Or Hayata won. We forgot to mention Hayata came out to confront Ada after he won the title. So that's where they're going.
Yeah.
You never know. I think Ada will.
I think so too. Like, because Ada has only had that like pretty short reign so far. I think like now that he's signed and everything, he's due like a really long reign.
So we then had the Noah the Tag Rumble, which I'm going to say first was the best battle royal of all the battle royals I watched.
Yeah.
Week, I thought, actually. So the winner, it was won by Masaki Mochizuki and Takashi Sugera, but also featured Masa Kitami and Black Menso Ray, Alejandro and Kai Fujimura, Shuhei Taniguchi and Hajime Ohara, LJ Cleary and Zozaya, and Naomichi Marufuji and Yu Owada, and Go Shiozaki Muhammad Yone, and Oka Sasaki and Titus Alexander. But Owada eliminated Marufuji, his teammate, and it was a sign of things.
Yep.
And after that, Tetsuya Endo defeated Atsushi Katoge in 14-16 with the Burning Star Press. I thought it was a pretty solid match. But the real news was after the match, Endo said he wanted to join, or he was joining Noah because he was admiring like Jun Akiyama and Kenta Kobashi. And so, that's a big news. Another piece of big news setting up Noah for 2025. And look, I know there's a lot of Endo haters out there, but I do like him. And I think.
Yeah, I really don't get why Endo get that much hate. I think he's a really good wrestler. Like, it really seemed like him getting like knocked out why Nakajima just completely derailed his career for whatever reason. So I think it's good that he finally gets like a change of scenery. Like depending how Noah builds him, I could see him as a potential main eventer. Like I could definitely see him like winning the JHC title down the line. Like I think he's at that level where he could be a guy there. So yeah, I mean it depends on his motivation levels and everything. But again, he's been doing well on these limit break shows, right?
Yes.
Like it definitely seemed like he was like better there than he was generally like on DDT recently. So
Well,
yeah, I hope that
I thought his tag run with Yuki Ino was pretty good.
yeah, that was really good. It's just like the single stuff for him was kind of shaky recently.
Yeah.
But no, like again, the tag stuff was really good. Like again, you can put him in tag division. I think that's really good. Like you could team him up with like Masaki Tamiya or someone. Like there's so many different options. Like he has all fresh matchups. Like that's really cool. And again, Noah needs guys like that, exactly, right? Like we were just talking about like who else could beat Ozawa besides like Kaito, because the main event scene in Noah is just so thin now. Like they desperately need a guy like Endo that can like be like a credible challenger for the title. So I think adding him to the mix is just like perfectly reasonable. I think it's a near perfect addition. Like if I had to pick someone from the DDT roster to come over, like it would be like him and Yuki Ino would be like the first picks essentially. So we got one of them. Maybe we'll get the other one. Who knows? But like I'm definitely happy that Endo is like jumping almost feels like too strong a word, right? Like because it's more like hopping because he's still with the same company at the end of the day. But I think this was desperately needed for him. Noah desperately needs him. So I think this is just a win-win situation for everybody.
Yep, for sure. And we'll get more into his direction in a second. And then we had Jack Morris almost an X who turned out to be Yu Owada defeating Akira to Dr. Wagner Jr., Galeno Del Mal, and Saxon Huxley in 9:36 when almost pinned Galeno with a double choke slam, which is a little surprising.
Yeah.
Certain someone's on their way out, and also Saxon Huxley is right there.
Yeah.
So that was a little
unexpected. Galeno just won the previous night.
Yeah, exactly. So that was weird. I mean, this was more, again, all about the Omos show, everything like that. It was good for what it was. Don't expect, I don't, work rate classic or anything like that, but I enjoyed it for what it was. And Owada in Team 2000X. I think it's the right move, and they're moving him up fast, which is good. Again, it's like little things. I mean, things like that are like, well, yeah, this is what Noah has to do and should have done a while ago.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It seems like maybe, I'm being cautious here because I've been burned by this promotion too many times. Maybe they finally learned that lesson, that like you can't just wait around with these young guys. I think maybe All Japan, like last year, right? Just having a resounding success with like pushing young guys maybe has led Noah to be like, okay, maybe this can actually work. Maybe we don't have to like wait around 8 years to push these guys. Maybe we can just go ahead and do it. So like I said, I am cautiously optimistic. I'm just not willing to fully commit yet because
sure, that's fair.
The scars run deep.
And then next up, GHC National Championship, Manabu Soya defeated Tadasuke in 13:36 with the Dando to make his fifth defense of the title. Tadasuke got this match by winning that Rumble on the Noah the New Year show, and he decided he would go for a heavyweight title. I think I might have liked this a little more than Kitamiya versus Soya, actually.
Oh no, I definitely like this one more because
I
thought they told a really good story. Like Tadasuke being like the underdog and just Soya just kind of tossing him around. Like I thought that like this had actually the intensity of a title match. Like you actually had the feeling that Tadasuke was like, no, I'm actually trying to win this title here. And I know I'm like overmatched against this fucking like beast in front of me. And I need to like find a way around that so I can actually win this belt, and desperately try to find one. And then at the end of the day, couldn't. It was just put away. So I thought it was a very simple, but like very effective story. So no, I thought I liked this way more than I did Soya with Kitamiya.
Yeah. I think it was a nice little like, hey, Tadasuke, you can do it. I mean, him and Yohei, I thought had really good 2024s, and they worked hard, and they in some ways carried that that junior division.
Yeah, No, I mean they are. Yeah, they are because, for example, like the brothers are like the Los Golpeadores aren't always around. Because I think those are like the two like actual like bell to bell best wrestlers
Yeah.
in the division. But like Tadasuke and Yohei are like always around. They're like the workhorses, or like you can just put them in a match and you know that they're like gonna like elevate it and everything. So no, to me those two like should be like the actual linchpins of the division. So I hope that at least one of them actually wins the title this year.
And then so after the match,
singles one.
Yeah. So after the match, Endo came out to challenge Soya, and yeah, I mean, I think Endo should win the national title. No,
Yeah, no,
I
absolutely.
would
Like,
have
he just comes in.
I would have liked a little longer of a reign for Soya. I think it's only at like 114 days right now, but you got to go with Endo.
Yeah, and I mean he got 5 defenses. Like I get that they put another one in here. Like basically they put 2 on back-to-back days essentially, but still, like he got to 5 defenses. I think that's a reasonable title reign. And I mean, maybe you could also like have Manabu Soya lose up as well. Like that's another thing. And I think this way you properly establish Endo immediately as like a player in the promotion, as a guy to be taken seriously. And then you give him like a decently long reign with the title as well to really show like, hey, this is a guy that like you have to pay attention to. So no, to me, this is also a no contest. Like absolutely, like Endo should beat Soya.
And then in the main event, we had Keno and Kaito Kiyomiya defeat Ozawa and Daga in 1704 with an inside cradle from Keno on Daga. This was pretty good, I thought. I thought Daga and Keno worked well. Good closing stretch. The surprise cradle from Keno. And Ozawa was still bringing his charisma here. It worked well, although the crowd was not as hostile, and they did boo and they did cheer Ken. They booed Ozawa and cheered.
Yeah, you mean Kaito?
Kaito, yeah, they booed. I mean, they cheered Kaito. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, this definitely was more of a Kaito-friendly crowd. No, I thought the match was really solid as well. It didn't really blow me away, and it is again a thing where I'm like a little worried how they're gonna portray Ozawa during this reign, because he didn't exactly look super strong here. So yeah, we'll see how this goes long term, and then. But otherwise, I mean, the match itself was good. Like I said, I don't want to poo-poo this too much. That's the other thing. That's why I'm trying to like weigh this. Where I'm like, don't want to poo-poo this too much, because it was still a good match overall. Like I still enjoyed the performance, and I think Ozawa, I think just he's being like, you literally see him like grow with every single match that he has. But like he also like, remember how Kaito just felt incredibly uncomfortable during that first like title reign?
Yes.
I don't get that feeling with Ozawa. Like he just feels like very natural with the belt.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I definitely think they have a guy here. See how they follow up with it, but like so far again, he feels like incredibly just natural, like champion, like a guy that should just hold the belt and like that should be a main eventer. So at the fact that he was at this time last year was still a young boy, and then within 1 year later he's literally the champion, is like, yeah, like Noah's really going for it.
Yeah, they really are. So real quick, this Saturday the 11th at Korakuen Hall, we've got Eita, Shuji Kondo, Amasuka, and Junta Miyawaki versus Hayata, Yohei, Tadasuke, and Yuto Kikuchi. We've got Uka Sasaki and Zozaya versus Mohamed Yone and Black Menso Ray, which is so random. But
it's such a Fire Pro random match.
Whatever. Then we got Go Shiozaki, Kazuyuki Fujita, Atsushi Katoge, and Hajime Ohara versus Naomichi Marufuji, Takashi Sugiura, Masa Kitamiya, and Daiki Odashima. So the Fujita and Odashima will continue. We have what will probably be Wagner's last match. Dr. Wagner Jr. and Galeno Del Mal versus Saxon Huxley and LJ Cleary.
What a match to go
I
on. I almost think they should have. Yep.
I said I just would have got another job out of Wagner.
I would have done the brother versus brother match here.
Yeah.
Right? Like this just feels like much more logical to just do it here, where like he puts over his brother on the way out. And he could have given this some time on, because this is just a completely pointless match.
Yep. It's his last match and it's pointless.
Yeah.
And anyway, we got then Team 2000X versus All Rebellion, Daga and Yu Wada versus Alejandro and Kai Fuji. And then another Team 2000X versus All Rebellion tag team matches, Jack Morris and Omos versus Kaito Kiyomiya and Harutoki.
I'm interested in that one, yeah.
We've got, this is non-title, and when they first did this at the end of the show, on the first. I was like, oh no, they're just gonna give Keno a title shot after losing to an outsider, technically at the time. So we got Ozawa versus Keno. We talked about what the result should be. I just think Ozawa should. Keno can.
Yeah.
Then in the G, because I think we might get a Keno and Kenta tag team, because Kenta came out after the main event on the reboot show. They came out and shook hands, Keno and Kenta.
And they do have Tag League coming up like relatively soon.
Yeah. So and then we got the national title match, Manabu Soya versus Tetsuya Endo. Make Endo a champion, hit the ground running with him, I think. So I'm looking forward to that show. I don't think there's been much announced otherwise. Oh yeah, we got a Limit Break show on Monday, January 13th at Yokohama Radiant Hall. We have Team Noah first anniversary, Go Shiozaki versus Muhammad Yone.
Oh yeah, that's true. They formed at now remember, because I was there when Team Noah formed.
Yeah. And then Atsushi Katoge versus Hajime Ohara, Takashi Sugera, Shuhei Taniguchi, Koji Doi versus Kazuyuki Fujita, Shuji Ishikawa, and Gaina. So those are some large men. We got the Reeve Mask and Black Menso Ray versus the Reeve Mask 2 and LJ Cleary. Tomomitsu Matsunaga and Kohei Kinoshita versus Brian Shizaka and Keigo Nakamura. And Daiki Odashima versus Satsuki Nagao. Anything else? I don't think so. They've got a spot show actually the day before on the 12th. And they got a 6-man tag team match. Ozawa, Jack Morris, and Daga, and this is Gunma versus Keno, Kaidokimi, and Hirotoki. We got a handicap match, Almost versus Alejandro and Kai Fujimura.
Ooh.
And then the rest are just your standard multi-man tags. So
you actually forgot the January 19th show with the most important thing, where they will be in Saitama and in Saitama Katsukabe or Kazukabe, where the mayor of Kazukabe is attending.
Yes, I see that. All that's a match for the show is Ozawa, Jack Morris, and Daga versus Keno, Kaido, and Alejandro. Almost in Ohara versus Manabu Soya and Kazuyuki Fujita. Okay.
That kind of rocks, though.
Yeah. We got.
I want to see Fujita and Omos, and I want to see almost just complete confusion when like Fujita just refuses to sell for him, but Fujita also not being able to. Again, we talked about how he respects Ishikawa because he can't physically bully Ishikawa. He definitely can't bully like Omos because he's so much taller than him.
Well, I mean, Fujita in his prime could have taken down Omos.
Oh yeah, but not like nowadays. No, he can't.
Yeah, and then in Osaka, Edion 2 on the 25th, we're going to get the junior heavyweight title match of Ada versus Hayata. And then on the 26th, the next day in Kagawa, it's Junta Miyawaki's triumphant hometown, but nothing has for that.
Oh, it's junior tag league. Sorry, I thought they were actually doing heavyweight.
Yeah, so also Noah announced a number of like the big shows for 2025. And it more or less looks like this schedule, even though they're calling it the 25th anniversary. But Yokohama Budokan on March 2nd, Junior Tag League finals, I would assume. They got a show on May 3rd at Sumo Hall again, the Memorial Voyage 2025. They've got a Memorial Voyage in Osaka, but it's on late June, but no exact date or venue. They've got July 19th, Korakuen Hall, and July 20th, Korakuen Hall, so back-to-back 25th in Korakuen. And that's their 25th anniversary. Which
is that a little disappointing that they're doing the anniversary shows in Korakuen?
Yeah, that's...
I mean, given how generally Noah has been like very much the promotion to like take big risks, this almost feels like swinging back too far the other way. Like it's the 25th anniversary. Like even...
Yeah.
Even All Japan tried to run a big building for that, yeah.
So you think they should be running another Budokan then? Basically.
Budokan or Sumo Hall or something, yeah. Something bigger, like at least like even Ota Ward would have been better than like. I mean, but then again, at least in Korakuen, you guarantee yourself a hard crowd.
Oh yeah, for sure for that. So that's Noah. They surprised us all.
Yeah.
In a good way for once.
Yeah. This was the best show to me out of all of these like New Year's like
yes,
shows.
I think so too. Yeah. So we move to All Japan at their show on December 31st at Yoyogi National Stadium Gymnasium number 2 in front of 2,503 fans, which I would call a success. And that's only down very moderately from last year, Nakajima versus Kento. So I wasn't sure, but the ticket sales, early ticket sales looked good. So, but this exceeded my expectation. Probably did not watch the Actress Time match on this.
No, I also didn't.
So we had the New Year's Eve junior match. Yuko Miyamoto, Seigo Tachibana, and Fuminori Abe defeated Musashi, Seki Yoshioka, and Taichi Nagao in 12:29 with the octopus hold from Abe on Nagao. Perfectly solid opener. I wish they would do more junior openers on every show, though. I think that's a better format.
Yeah. And the thing for me with this one is like, it really kind of shows like how far like the junior division has come in a way. Like that they actually have like depth in there. They actually can have these like 6-man matches.
More,
and they can use more, but it's also that like you have this kind of match. And like I'm looking at this and I'm like, you know what? I actually like all of these guys. Like I think Yuko Miyamoto is like the worst of these 6 guys. And that's nothing against Yuko Miyamoto. Like I think that's actually a good sign if Yuko Miyamoto is the worst guy in his 6-man tag.
Yeah, for sure. And then the All Japan New Year's Eve Rumble 2024. This ended with Suwama throwing Minoru Suzuki over the top rope, which also featured Aizawa #1, Ultimo Dragon for some reason, Harley Jackson, Kumagoro Hokai coming all the way down from Hokkaido, Shitaro Ashino, Kumorashi, Kuroshio Tokyo Japan, Hikaru Sato, Hideki. This was very good, and it went 24 minutes.
Yeah, it was a bit too long. It was no, not very good.
So then we had this match called The Pro Wrestling 2024 with the capitalized. Daisuke Sekimoto defeated Dan Tamura in 15:30 with a lariat, and I thought this rocked. I saw some sort of mixed reviews, but I loved it. It was the second best show.
Yeah, no, I agree. I also thought it was the second best match on the show. Just real hard hitting. I also love what Dan is doing with his look now. He's like growing out his hair.
Oh, he's just looking
and everything.
Very slick.
But I think it really works for him. I think this finally works. I think this really, really works for him, what he's going for. Where he's just like this, he's just turning into this like sleazy brawler. So I think that's the perfect direction for him to go. Again, Sekimoto isn't what he used to be, but I think he actually tried to work really hard here. And like when he laundered Dan Tamura into like the corner post, I winced. I was like, holy shit, that was awesome.
I love how he just like won with that lariat. Bam.
Yeah. He Dan Tamura looked like he did like 5 flips on that. That was awesome. I also agree. I thought this was really good. I went like 4 stars on this one.
Yeah, so did I. We'll talk more about Dan because I don't know what they're doing. And then the 50-second Kohaku Pro Wrestling battle, and this is based off of what some Japanese battled the bands with red and white. I don't know.
Yeah, no, same. I was confused what was happening as well until someone explained it.
So Hokuto Omori Cyrus and Jack Kennedy defeated Rei Saito, Mr. Saito Naruki, and Senor Saito in 11:33 with the narcissist press from Omori on Senor Saito. But then the crowd response was for the Saitos, and they were declared the winners.
Yeah. So I guess they won the match. Yeah.
By fan judgment.
Again, yeah. I think we're just very much missing the cultural background for this one.
Yeah. It was fine. But like, it was more of just like doing the angle to piss off. And then the Atsuki Aoyagi return match. Ryuki Han and Renai Abe defeated Yuma Aoyagi and Atsuki Aoyagi in 2042 with the final event from Honda on Aoyagi. I mean, Atsuki hasn't missed a step. Nope. He wrestles exactly the same way he did when he left. Maybe he'll blow out his knee again. But, he looked great here, and I thought his work with Honda was awesome, and this would be the 3rd best match of the show.
Yeah. No, I agree. It was the 3rd best match on the show. I am a little worried about Yuma, though. Like, I think he's leaning real heavy into the comedy now.
We'll get to that some more in a minute, too. But, yeah, I agree.
Because I think he was almost, like, the worst guy in this match. I would say maybe I was still Ren, because when Yuma was serious, he was still Yuma. But otherwise, I think this match was very heavily carried by, like, Honda and Atsuki, really.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And those two are really, really good.
The thing is, it's also scary is that with Suwama now, like just a part-timer, it gives more influence to Yuma.
Yeah.
which means he's going to do more. We'll get.
And
we'll
again,
talk
you
about
know
this.
who they signed who also really likes to do comedy?
Yeah,
Hideki.
well, we'll talk about we'll talk about Hideki in a minute. Well, yeah, and then basically also Yuma has basically won the comedy belt of the company.
Yeah, with his comedy faction that he has for some reason.
Yeah, Baka no Jidai. So then, semi-main event, All Asia Tag Team Championship, Rising Hayato and Yuma Anzai defeated Kento Miyahara and Ryo Inoue in 21:57 with the gimlet from Anzai on Inoue to make their second defense of the title. This was by far the best of the show. This was an awesome tag match, great way to end the year. And this whole Inoue versus Anzai feud of the last couple months of the year has been awesome, even though Inoue has no chance in hell of winning. But their closing stretch was incredible, and they really sold, and Anzai really sold it like Inoue was a threat.
Mm-hmm.
And
No,
yeah, I thought Hayato's title reign was a little wishy-washy, but I thought Hayato really awesome.
Yeah, I think really this has helped him kind of regain his confidence, I think.
Yeah.
Because he almost seemed like a little lost while he was champion. And he definitely seemed lost after he lost the belt. Like because he was just kind of just floating there, kind of like being like the fourth guy in Elpida, really.
Yeah.
Not really doing anything. And then since he's won this belt, I think he's really like, I mean, they also like come out with like his music, basically. It's the other weird part. They constantly come out.
Yeah, but that worked. I gotta say,
it really works. It works. Like I'm not complaining. It's just kind of weird that they're coming out to like the juniors' music, not like the former Triple Crown champion. But it definitely works. It definitely works for them. And I think they're also like making a lot of money on the merch. It's
Paul, on January 2nd, they released the Hayato and Anzai photo book.
Yeah. Which is actually really funny. Like, I assume you listened to the flagship review of this as well, where they were like, well, not a lot of books being made for like all Japan. So they're like, okay, guys, it's literally the promotion has two sides. It's fat, ugly brawlers, and then it's like the most Fujoshi bait this side of Dragon Gate.
Yeah, that is the two faces of All Japan right now. So, the team is going to continue. I didn't think that in a win. And then, of course, we go to the Triple Crown. Jun Saito defeated Davey Boy Smith Jr. in 21:47 with the cycle break. Smith failed in his first defense of the title, and Jun Saito is the 75th Triple Crown champion. Well, Paul, I was agnostic on Davey Boy Smith. I know that lots of people were vehemently against this from the beginning, but I was agnostic. Didn't hate it, didn't love it. But now I've just totally turned against Davey after this.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say it's all his fault. The Saitos are still opponent dependent as singles wrestlers, especially. But Smith deserves his share of the blame here. Not bumping very well at all.
Yeah.
Just slapping on holds forever in the middle of this. I actually thought this match started off perfectly fine, if not good, but it just slowed down, just fell apart in the middle, or slowed down. And then the ending came out of nowhere. There was like barely a crowd pop for the big win. Although after the Jun Saito got on the mic, the crowd got cheered very loudly towards the end of his promos and everything like that. But also
and his line for his after the show, the line for like autographs and everything.
Oh yeah, his autograph line was insanely long. Someone in the VOW Discord who was at the show posted a picture, and he had an insanely long line for merch to get and stuff signed. So that's a good sign. I will say though, also Davey Boy Smith Jr. is the worst promo in wrestling, no question, absolutely.
Oh God, no! This whole like I really don't get what he's doing there with this whole "I love Zen Nihon." Like it's so weird,
so dumb.
Yeah, but it's not gonna work. Like it's very obviously not working. It hasn't worked since the beginning. And
well, he's going home now. Meltzer reported that he was working on dates possibly as far as the Champion Carnival, but I don't know if that's for sure. I hope.
I mean, we know who told him that. It was Davey Boy.
Oh, yes, of course.
Obviously, Davey Boy is gonna say that. I don't know if they're actually gonna do that. We'll see. I mean, I was actually really disappointed because I was bit skeptical. I mean, I kind of expected it when they signed him that they were going to put the belt on him and everything, and that he was going to lose it here. And that's exactly how it played out. But I was at least after, because he just had that like awesome real world tag league final. And I was like, okay, you know what? maybe he can actually do it. Maybe he can actually, like, maybe we've been wrong about him all this time. It's like, no. Actually, no, we weren't. Actually, we were right. And he just isn't that guy. Like, he is a passable tag wrestler, obviously.
Yes.
But he's just not a guy that ever has shown that he's a good singles wrestler.
Also, I thought their match back in August in Sendai, which was the semi-main event of the show with Anzai versus Ray, was better than this match. Now, that didn't like the world on fire. I went like 3.25 stars, but it was still better than this match.
Yeah.
And
like, this is definitely like a massive like downturn from like last year's main event of the show.
Like, did you notice that when they did the 20-minute call, they went directly, like, basically to the finishing sequence?
Yeah. No, it was very clearly like time for 20 minutes. Yeah.
So stupid. They should have just done 18 minutes, 17 minutes. They did last one was 17th it up.
Yeah.
Right. That was they probably could have made it a much better match if they just shaved off even 4 or 5 minutes off of this. Because like, again, like the middle was Hold City and everything like that. So, I mean, I think Smith's coming back, but holding out hope he's not. And like, look, when your main event falls flat like this, it puts if this was like even like what they did in Sendai, I think this would have been a much better received show. But this overshadows it all. Because there was there was like 3 pretty darn good matches, right?
Yes, but I would overall say I don't think it was a really good. Like, there were the 3 matches that were really good, but then everything else was just like the main event was obviously a bit far. The Rumble was really bad. Yeah. And then the confusing like Citrus versus Hooktagon match as well.
Yep.
So it was very much like thumbs in the middle show at best, really.
Yeah. So I don't think this is going to hurt June as long as, and we'll talk about more later with what he's going to do, but I don't.
No, I think again the fact that his like merch line like literally like almost circled around the entire arena, I think, shows that it didn't.
So we go to a couple days later on January 2nd at Corkin Hall in front of 1,235 fans, which, given the card, I thought was a decent number for them.
Yeah.
And so we start off with the New Year's greeting. As we said, no booze for Fukuda. And so a couple things. First, Musashi is the vice president of the Wrestlers of Japan now, which is interesting just because it assumes that he might have some influence.
Yeah.
Which we wouldn't guess necessarily. But who knows how much, but he could. And
I also assume that means he's the one doing all of the actual work that Kento doesn't want to do.
Exactly. And then we knew that they were going to announce someone had been signed, and we're like, oh, well, maybe it'll finally be Kuma Arashi. Well, honestly, I did not expect this. I didn't even really think of this, but it was Hideki Suzuki. And you know what? I'm fine with it. I don't have any issue. We'll talk about it more in the next show. Paul, what are your thoughts?
No, he got a massive pop as well. Like, I think it's a well-deserved thing. I think Hideki earned it. Like, even shaky tag team with Suwama's side, I think he has been a net positive for the promotion.
Yes.
I think especially for like singles matches, there's still like a lot of fresh stuff. And again, he has shown that he is just willing to like do jobs now. Like, this isn't like Wrestle One Hideki where he just buries the promotion 6 feet under on his way out.
Yeah. Big Japan eating up Daichi Hashimoto.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. That might have been worse than the Wrestle One title match. But who did he lose it to again? He lost it to Kai. Oh god. Yeah. And then he just immediately rolled out of the ring and was never seen again. Is this the first time he's been signed like properly to a promotion?
Well, was he signed to Inoki Genome?
I don't think so. I'm not sure though if he ever was like formally signed to like IJF or not. Did IJF really have like a signed roster?
I don't know. I'm just curious. I want to know the story of him. Is he just like we'd rather spend money on other people?
But then they kept his faction around for a while. So it didn't even feel like they really knew he would, because again, right, if let's say there was a bad falling out or whatever, you'd assume that they're just immediately just getting rid of his faction and never mention that again. But like Taniguchi was carrying that Real shirt for like months after Hideki like stopped appearing for them.
Yeah, but clearly Huxley was still appearing after that too. But
clearly something happened, right? Because the one that points that out the most to me again was last year when they had that joint show in Oberhausen, and Hideki was literally there. Like, pretty sure he was literally in the building because he was also there for the tag tournament from WXW that week, and he did not work that show. So that at least indicates to me that there's at least a little bit of bad blood, or him. Maybe it's from him as well, right? Like, it might also be that he, for some reason, doesn't want to work with Noah anymore for whatever reason that is.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's a positive signing. Does he win the Triple Crown at some point?
Yeah, I actually think he will. And people are gonna freak out about it. I am already like mentally bracing myself.
Hey, if he's a transitional champion, because he's gonna be 45 this year.
Yeah.
He's still in great shape and wrestles as well as ever. But look, I'm perfectly fine with it if he gets 1 or 2.
Yeah,
but,
no, that's actually what I expect him to be.
You can't subordinate what you've been doing to him.
No,
the young talent, and I don't think they will, judging by these shows. So All Japan Pro Wrestling 2025 beginning. Suwama defeated Taisha Nagao in 454 with the lariat. This was a fun little quick opener. Suwama beating up young. And then Musashi, Seki Yoshioka, and Seigo Tachibana defeated Shotaro Ashino, Atsuki Aoyagi, and Ryo Inoue in 1039 with the Estrella Futuro from Musashi on Inoue. I actually thought this was a pretty good match as well. I guess it's sort of a junior match, even though Ashino's there. But
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Maybe we move one guy up from the junior division, and we move another guy.
No. Oh, God. That's a real nail in the coffin.
Yeah, it really would be. I should, again, every time I do that, I think I really don't want to give people the impression that I hate Ashino. I was literally wearing my Ashino shirt yesterday, so. But then, it is very funny.
I mean, it is funny. And then Kento Miyahara and Davey Boy Smith Jr. defeated Harley Jackson and Jack Kennedy in 9:45 with the Bulldog Bomb from Smith on Jackson. It's perfectly fine. Just I'm not surprised at Smith trying to get his heat back. And
also, I'm very happy that double Tokyo Dome main event appearer Harley Jackson hooked to Gonzone. The final thing you see on the dome is Harley Jackson 2 times.
It is funny because there's no way that New Japan is going to give him a full-time shot.
Yeah.
But collect those paychecks for appearances. And then for the AJPW TV 6-man titles, Yuma Aoyagi, Fuminori Abe, and Hikaru Sato defeated Hokuto Mori, Kuma Arashi, and Cyrus in 1340 with the Fool from Aoyagi Ano Mori. For the failed third defense of the champions, the Bakano Jidai team becomes the 10th champions. Wow, it's been that many. Look, this was, as you would expect, extremely comedy heavy. And then I thought Omori and Aoyagi actually saved this match with a good closing stretch.
Yeah. No, again, this is one of those things where I'm getting really worried about what Yuma is going to do over the next year. But that's the other thing, then when he actually does turn it on, he's still really good. So I'm conflicted.
Yeah.
I don't know what his intention here is. I don't know what he's trying. Like, I just don't understand what he's trying to do. Is basically what I'm getting.
I don't know what he's trying to do either. And we know that he's got to have a lot of influence on this direction as well, right?
Yeah, it's not like the promotion is forcing him to do this. Yeah, this is him wanting to do this.
And then for the Gaora TV title, Yuko Miyamoto defeated Dan Tammer in 12:56 with a moonsault press to make his first defense of the title. First of all, I don't know why they just didn't belt up Dan here. The Gaora TV title is perfect for him.
Yeah, and it's Yuko Miyamoto. Like, you can just beat him. It's fine.
Exactly. Also, this was a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
I thought.
No, I agree. I was... Maybe also because of the result and everything, but I also thought the match itself was just mostly just there. But Dan is definitely even more like upgrading. Okay, refining his look. Is that the right term? With like where he has like the rope and everything now as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what that one is called. Like, I think it's like a specific Japanese dress, but I don't know what that one is specifically called.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know. We'll see what they do with Dan, but I wasn't particularly pumped after this direction or anything like that. So,
but it definitely seems like he's like, I think we can just say he's a heavyweight now, right?
I hope so. I think he should move up. I was like, I don't know. I wasn't necessarily like, oh, Dan needs to move up, but now I'm like, Dan should move up.
Yeah, there's nothing for him to do in the junior division. No. Like, he also doesn't fit the vibe of the junior division. That's like, with his look now, he just doesn't fit the vibe. Which again, that's like where like most of the pretty boys are.
Yeah,
and he
exactly.
just doesn't fit that style anymore.
And that's why the TV title is perfect for him
Yeah,
too.
like no one's gonna write slash fiction about Dan Tamara and like Atsuki Oyagi.
Okay. And then next is Steiner Brothers versus Alpida. Rising Hado, Yuma Anzai, Ryuki Honda, and Ren Ayabe defeated Jun Saito, Rei Saito, Mr. Saito, Naruki Do, and Senor Saito in 1744 with the gimlet from Anzai on Senor Saito. Anzai looked like he was having a little trouble with getting up Senor up there because Senor is a little heavy.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny though because he's gotten like other people up for that, but yeah, I think it's more like the shape is the issue there as well.
I'm sure that at Mazada's age, he doesn't also go. He doesn't like help himself.
No, he kind of yeah. he sandbagged him a bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was this might have been the best match on the show. Other than that, it was 6-man.
I mean, I guess by default.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm not saying this was like really good or special or anything like that, but I guess just literally by process of elimination, it was the best match. So yeah.
Yeah. And then 30-man New Year Battle Royal featuring everybody. And it's so funny because as soon as it starts, Kento was just chilling on the apron, not wanting to get in there.
Nope.
And then of course,
like I'm the ace. I'm not doing this shit.
Atsuki won this, and he defeated Honda. They were battling on the thing. So yeah, he was the right winner, I think. But there's not much to say. It is the same thing every.
Yeah, I will say one thing though. Having watched that last year, it does work in person. It does not work on like stream. Like in person, it is actually really fun. But yeah, no, this just isn't a thing that is very fun to like watch on a screen.
Yeah. And then we go to the next day on January 3rd at Corkin in front of 1,339 fans. So up, usually the third does better. So the new junior special 10-man tag match, Rising Hado, Atsuki Oyagi Musashi, Dan Tamara, and Taishin Nagao. Well, there's your answer about Dan. Defeated Mr. Saito, Naruki Doi, Seki Yoshioka, Hikaru Sato, Yuko Miyamoto, and Seigo Tachibana in 15-19 with the horizontal cradle from Musashi on Doi. Again, this was another solid, very good junior opener.
And it was just all about like Musashi, like
challenging
Doi afterwards and like setting that back up.
So he's going to get a title shot.
Do you find it curious that they're actually going for Musashi versus Doi and not straight to Atsuki versus Doi?
No, I think Atsuki will get the shot in either February at Korakuen or March at Oda Ward. That would be my guess.
Yeah, fair enough. Because I'm like, I love Doi, but I'm also kind of ready to move on from his junior reign.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did, in all honesty. I think, Haya's reign maybe could have gone a little longer, even though it wasn't setting the world on fire otherwise, but he was sort of the ace with Atsuki out. So anyway. So
yeah, I think this is actually his longest singles reign since he became like a freelancer.
Yeah. So Alpida versus Hokuto Army. Ryuki Honda and Ren Ayabe defeated Hartley Jackson and Jack Kennedy in the 11-16 with a death roulette from Ayabe on Kennedy. It was there.
Yep.
It was there.
It's Jack Kennedy. I don't know. I think again you keep going with him, but he is very dry right now. Like it's just I don't know. Like he seems to have talent, but I'm also not sure. He needs some sort of character. I think right now he just feels like a guy on the show that is literally just like there. Like I don't really like he literally feels like a creator wrestler where you just kind of kept the like everything standard. You kind of just click through, like including the moveset. Like you just need something. I don't think he really has anything besides being like a white guy in Japan.
He's got size. I don't know. I'd say go with him because he's just like a weekend warrior. And let's see if he can develop some.
Yeah. No. I definitely don't think like stop booking him. I'm just saying like right now, like he needs to develop something. I think now he's been around for a while and everything, and he's in a faction, so he needs to like develop the act now. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And then we had Yuma Aoyagi defeating Fuminori Abe in 13-21 the backslide. Again, like all of these Yuma Aoyagi matches these days, heavy comedy to begin, but they did pretty well by the end. This was actually pretty good. And this third best match of the show.
I mean, these are like two amazing wrestlers on paper.
Yeah, exactly, right?
It was very weird that it was just split basically 50-50, where it was like 50% like comedy at the start, and then just literally at the halfway point they decide, okay, time to get serious, and then they just have a really like basically like a really great sprint essentially to like get an actual match in there as well.
Mm-hmm. So it continues.
Yeah.
And then Kento Miyahara, Davey Boy Smith Jr., and Ryo Inoue defeated Hokuto Omori, Kuma Arashi, and Cyrus at 11:59 with the shutdown suplex hold from Miyahara on Omori. Yeah, it was just, again, perfectly fine, inoffensive stuff. But then we get to cooking. Yuma Anzai defeated Shotaro Ashino in 15:09 with a gimlet. This, my God, was awesome until the end.
Yeah.
So they are stiffing each other and brawling outside. Ashino gives him a giant swing into the barriers outside. Anzai gets busted open on an uppercut. You know, when Ashino throws you up in the air and does the uppercut, I think that's what busted him open. And a good amount of blood too, streaming all over Anzai's face. Looked incredible.
He was bleeding a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Ashino, remember in the Ashino versus Nakajima match with that power bomb?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he
That
did
looked like
another
it
very
killed him.
insane looking power bomb again that knocked out Anzai for a second.
Yeah.
And they sort of sloppily went to the finish with a bad German suplex that Ashino kicked out of, and then a gimlet. But my God, this would have been incredible.
That gimlet looked rough as well.
Yeah. But I mean, everything leading up to that power bomb was.
Oh yeah, no, everything else was amazing. Yeah, like when Anzai got busted open, like that whole thing went to like another level. Like until he got knocked out, like it was like one of those things where like the accidental blood really like elevated things. Like Anzai just looked like a madman with just like blood just streaming down his face, and those two just like beating the shit out of each other. Crowd was really hard for it too. Also, this was the fastest that I've seen Wada move as well. Like when Anzai got busted open, like he was like he just like looked like he teleported next to him basically. Like that's how quickly he like moved over to like check in on him, and he was like,
well, you know,
and,
he is Wada's old, and but the whole reason that he became a referee was that he was on the ring team, the ring crew, and Baba saw that he was very quick on his feet, and so he's like, you should be a referee.
Yeah.
So
and
he can be.
I mean, it seems like he still has that explosive speed, but I think it's just his knees don't work no more, so he can't get down.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, it was amazing though until the finish. Yeah.
A real shame. You know, I'm going to be honest. Prior to the December 31st show, I thought, you know what, you should have Ashino go over and then face the winner of Anzai versus Smith. But given how that match turned out, I think this was the right result. Yeah. Because you need a hot match for June's first defense.
Yeah, and you're gonna get that with Anzai.
Yeah, exactly. So then we move on to the World Tag Team titles. Jun Sato and Rei Sato defeated Daisuke Sekimoto and Hideki Suzuki in 1858 with the barbecue bomb from Rei on Suzuki. So good on Suzuki being a company man here, doing the job.
Literally like a day after he gets signed.
Yeah. So, I mean, this was not like a barn burner in terms of like a speed, obviously, with these guys. But I thought it was good. They kept up consistent action and they just laid into each other. And Suzuki was just doing the closest punches at the end, walloping Rei, and then Rei just kind of grabs him and power bombs him and gets the win. So I thought this actually turned out quite well. It was, you know, probably the best match of the show because I'm going to penalize the Anzai versus Ashino for the ending. One of the, you know, and then probably the second best match of these All Japan shows after the All Asia Tag match, or maybe not. I don't know, but it's up there. I'd have it at number 2.
Yeah. I will definitely say out of these 3 shows, this was the best one, though.
Yes, top to bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one the most. Yeah.
And then after the match, Anzai came out with a big bandage on it.
That looked so awesome. I hope somebody was there. Like, let's just give him a giant bandage because it makes him look like a badass.
To challenge.
Because he looked like a badass coming out.
Yes. So we have the schedule, and this match is going to be on January 26th at Mukari Mess International Conference Hall, which is interesting because I think that place only can hold maybe 1,000. It's in Chiba.
I think so.
Makuhari Messe International Exhibition
Yeah.
before. They did 750 people there last carnival. So I can't imagine it's much more than 1,000 max if you pack them in, which is interesting choices. Because
Yeah, I think around 800, I think is what the max or something generally.
Oh,
yeah.
really? Oh, it's interesting.
I
'cause
don't know
you
off the
could-
top of my head. I think
you
generally
could
what I've
run this in
seen,
a
yeah.
Korakuen, no problem, and probably do well.
Yeah.
So you've got Jun Sato versus Yuma Anzai, Musashi versus Naruki Doi for the junior title, and you have AJPW AJPW TV 6-man titles. Yuma Aoyagi, Fuminori Abe, and Hikaru Sato are defending against Hokuto Omori, Kuma Arashi, and X. And X has been promised to be like a giant, or
I mean, we know it's not going to be Cyrus, right? Because
he was gone back to the
he's
States.
going home, yeah. I mean, obviously, also it doesn't make sense for him to be X anyway. So I assume it's like whoever is going to replace Cyrus while he's gone.
But who's it gonna be? Like they promised like a monster, or
Yeah.
a giant,
Kumagoro
or something. I don't know.
Hokai.
Oh God, or something like that. So yeah, that's that. And then on February 13th, they announced it's the 10th anniversary of Kumarashi Charashino's debut, so they're gonna have a match against each other at Korakuen on the 9th. And we have the announcement of their big show schedule, which for 2025, which looks kind of like last year's. So you got
Yes.
Sunday, June 1st,
Very much so.
Sunday Sun Plaza Hall. I wonder who will be in the main event there. Maybe I think you could have the Saitos lose the tag titles and win them back there.
Okay, sorry, I just looked it up for the Makuhari Internet. Like they have
Yeah.
the International Conference Hall, right, for
Yeah.
the show. So on their website, they say the convention hall can accommodate 1,600 people.
Oh wow.
But
okay.
then assuming like right with the seating and everything and the ring, it's probably less than that. But yeah, you could probably like 1,000, probably maybe like 1,200. I would say
Yeah.
maybe you could pack in there. But still, like yeah, that probably would make more sense to just run it in Korakuen.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Saito should probably lose the titles in Sendai, and then August 3rd, Oda War Gym, and then Sunday, August 10th, the Matsumoto City General Gymnasium, and then they're going back to Yoyogi number 2 on December 31st again.
Yep. Which hopefully I will be there.
Yeah. So that is interesting. Oh, also the Champion Carnival Finals are going to be. Oh, they're running an Oda Ward in March, and then the Carnival Finals are going to be in Oda Ward Gym as well, which makes sense.
Yeah, making use of the building now that it's back makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it was basically their big show building for like years.
And then okay, I forgot this one. Shinjuku Face Fan Appreciation Day on the 18th. So it's like a interesting little mix of matches here. We've got Rei Saito and Atsuki Aoyagi versus Jun Saito and Yuma Aoyagi.
The crowd popped so loud for that one.
Yeah. We got Yuma Anzai and Ren Ayabe versus Rising Hayato and Ryuki Honda. We've got Tachi Nagao versus Kento Miyahara. So that's a fun little.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, I don't think necessarily. Well, it's really the main event of December 31st. It was not quite All Japan's best foot forward, but I still think with what they've set up, I'm still generally bullish.
Yeah. You know what? I just kind of realized, who's actually been a complete afterthought on this whole thing?
Who?
So much so that we haven't really talked about him at all in any way. Kento.
Yes, I know. Right?
Right? It's like for a guy that was like literally like the cornerstone of the promotion for years. And now we basically went this entire thing and we like didn't talk about Kento at all because like I'm also like, what's his direction next year? Right? Like I don't even know what he's going to do.
Everybody thought that Smith was going to turn on Kento and then Kento would beat Smith.
Yeah, but nope.
No. I think, gun to my head, I would say I think Kento wins 25.
Yeah, I don't think we're that done with him, but it is interesting that, I mean, in a weird way, it's not in a weird way, but it is actually a positive thing, right? That we can be here now. It doesn't matter that Kaito is doing nothing, essentially. And the promotion is like drawing well.
I mean, he's only 35. Well, he'll turn 36 in 2025, but
yeah,
there's still, and given his style, I think he's still got many years ahead of him. So, hey, if you can do this, do it and save Kento for the future when you might need him and everything like that. But yeah, I think he probably should get another title reign.
No, I was saying this last time and then he still lost. But I definitely feel like now that like the next time he is actually in a Triple Crown match, he's going to win the title.
Yeah, I think so. Yep. So that is so finally, Paul, we have a situation where I think both Noah and All Japan are headed in very good directions at the same time.
Okay, who's going to fuck it up first?
Probably Noah, but I don't think it's probably Noah, but I don't think it's impossible that All Japan does it.
Yeah, because we've been due for like a really, really dumb All Japan move because they haven't done that.
It's
in a
funny
while.
because yes, they haven't done it. I mean, that main event of December 31st was the closest thing.
Yeah,
That was a booking decision per se, and I absolutely have no problem with Jun Saito as the Triple Crown champion. It's time. He's 38 years old because their birthday's in December, so he just turned 38. You got to go now.
And the body shape also isn't one where it's like, oh yeah, they can like go for a very long time. Like you got to
go now.
Yeah.
Now I don't know how much bigger celebrities you can make them. Maybe they've hit their peak. Maybe they've got a much higher peak. I don't know, but you can run with this.
You got to ride that train until the wheels fall off, basically.
And really, there's still a few Saito skeptics out there, but at this point, you can't make a business argument against it.
No. Like they have a fucking TV show. They sell a boatload of merch. They sell a boatload of like autographs and everything.
The company
super over with the crowd. Yeah,
they are probably doing more media appearances now than Kento.
Yeah, no, think very clearly they are.
Yeah. So I mean, they've got the crossover appeal. You run with that, and right in Japan, that's not that they do that when you have crossover. It's very common.
Yeah,
you're gonna get a.
I mean, it's kept Makabe employed and pushed in New Japan for years.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So,
like, there's no way he gets away with like standing on the apron, not bumping, for like 10+ years if he's not like on TV with his like snack show.
Exactly. And look at all the celebrities that DDT brings in, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
It's maybe not what people think of as traditional Japanese pro wrestling, but still, I mean, they're still chasing that crossover appeal, and they've got some with the Saito, so they should ride it to where it can head,
Yeah.
And also, you got the Ray versus June Triple Crown match in your holster.
Yeah. Do you think that title? Do you think that reign goes that long?
He's got to have. He's beating Anzai, I think.
Yeah, at the very least, because again, like you obviously run that in Sendai. If you run that one, you have to run it in Sendai. You
could also run an Oda Ward in March.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I feel like you could do a real big number in Sendai with that.
Yeah, it might go that long. I wouldn't
like that. Would be a shame if you don't. If you ever have the chance to do it, you should do it there.
Wait a second. Let me check something on the schedule. Okay. Oh, the finals are on May. The finals of the Champion Carnival on May 18th. That Sendai show's on June 1st.
Is Ray winning the carnival?
Oh, I think he might be.
And then we're doing Saito versus Saito, and
you do that. You have Ray win the carnival. June is still the champion. You go into Sendai. How could you not?
You have to, like.
Yeah.
You can like bump those like ticket prices up by like 25% at least.
I think the carnival final should either be Anzai versus Ray or Kento versus.
Yeah. Or Ray versus Davey Boy.
No.
I don't think, like, even if that was the plan, I don't think they would do that after this performance from Davey Boy. That's the other thing.
That is a long ass carnival.
Yeah.
Because so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 shows, and it starts on April 9th. So that's a lot of shows spread out. But also, it says additional dates and tournament ticket information will be announced on the official website and official X as soon as they're decided. There's no Osaka show on this list. So they're probably adding at least one more show. We might have a very large field this year.
Yeah, because I would assume that at least like Daisuke Sekimoto is definitely going to be in there.
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
I think that almost fits like a guarantee.
Hideki, Cyrus.
Yeah.
Maybe Smith, probably Smith. Maybe, hopefully not. But, I think he still has to be factored in if you're going to say who could probably be in it and everything like that. So, whoever this monster is, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm very excited, though. Maybe Mike D, I hope.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I mean, he got over, so I really hope they bring him back. Maybe he's the monster.
Yeah.
Maybe the monster is the friends we made along the way.
Yeah. So with that, have a happy new year, and we will be back in a couple of weeks because we're going to see how both of these companies follow up and not bungle this.
Watch us doom next time.
Yeah. We'll have a good sense of that. So we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks and enjoy all the wrestling out there. Bye.
Hi, I'm Case Lowe, co-host of the Open the Voice Gate podcast. The one question I'm constantly asked when it comes to Dragon Gate is how do I get into the promotion? Well, stop asking and start listening to the Open the Voice Gate podcast, released every Wednesday on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. For exclusive news and show reviews, look no further than the leader in Dragon Gate coverage, Open the Voice Gate.